All right, in this video we're going to practice radical equations. So remember with the radical equations that because we are squaring both sides, we may end up having extraneous solutions, and we may end up having two solutions where one is extraneous, or maybe both are. Maybe we have one solution and that only solution is extraneous also, which then you would write no solution. So let's just go through a problem and let's just practice. So remember, we've got our radical, and inside is called the radicand. So the square root of w minus 4 plus the square root of w plus 12 equals 8. And as I'm going through this, if you guys are able to write down on a piece of paper and practice this along with me, and either keep up, go ahead if you want, and even pause the video and write it down and work it out and see if you can do it, and then watch the rest of the video. So we're not going to square both sides. I want to bring one of these to the other side, and then we're going to square it. So let's leave this one here. Square root of w minus 4 equals 8 minus the square root of w plus 12. Now we will square both sides of them. Okay, and let's work it out. So that cancels out. So we get w minus 4 equals, okay, I'm going to write it off to the side just in case you need to see it visually to make it easier. If you don't have to write it off to the side, that's okay if you're able to work it out in your head. Okay, so now let's use FOIL to multiply this. So our first, 8 times 8, we've got 64. Our outers, we've got negative 8 to the square root of w plus 12. Now our inners, negative 8 times the square root of w plus 12. And now our last, positive w plus 12, because remember, when you're multiplying two square roots, it's a square, so you just are left with the radicand with no square root. So now we can simplify. Still got w minus 4 on this side equals, let's see all our numbers. So we got 64 and 12, so that's 76. Okay, I've got like terms here, square root of w plus 12, so minus 8 and minus 8. So we've got negative 16 times the square root of w plus 12 and plus w, and we already used our 12 up. Now I'm going to bring everything to the one side. So we've got, take away the w, they cancel out on both sides. So we've got negative 4 equals 76 minus 16 times the square root of w plus 12. Bring over 76. So negative 80 equals negative 16 times the square root of w plus 12. Divide both sides by negative 16. And I am left with, let's see, is that 5? Yes. 5 equals the square root of w plus 12. I'm going to come over here where I have more space. So again, to get rid of that radical, I'm going to square both sides. So I have w plus 12 equals 25. And you see, I just switched sides. I flipped the whole equation just so I can get my variable on the left side, just because that's how we typically like it in algebra. It just looks better when the variable is on the left. So now subtract 12 from both sides, and w equals 13. There is your answer, but like we said before, we may have extraneous solutions with this. So let's put it back in our original formula, our original equation, and let's double check that we're correct. Okay, so we've got, I'll write it down here. The square root of 13 minus 4 plus the square root of 13 plus 12 equals 8. So 13 minus 4 is 9, so the square root of that is 3, plus 13 plus 12 is 25, so the square root of that is 5, equals 8. 8 equals 8. It checks out. So your answer is 13. Okay, so just remember, get one radicand on each side, square both sides, work it out. If you get to where you still have a radicand at the very end, square it again and just keep on working it out and keep practicing.